All right, so lots of times when we work within Python, we may save code that we want to reuse over and over in different, whether it's projects or different scenarios. Now, a common way to do that is to actually start saving code within a Python file and then to execute that. So let's go ahead and do that as an exercise here. I'm going to go and I'm going to create a Python file. And within this Python file, I am going to basically copy these lines. And these were lines that we saw directly within the reading for this lesson. Now, you can see I've created this untitled.py. Let's go ahead and let's change the name to Zen. Now, when we create this is going to be a file that is generated and saved in a certain location. And that location kind of depends on where you're operating out of Jupyter Lab. So in my case, I'm working in the desktop. And you could always navigate to a different location. Say you wanted to, I've got a directory. Let's go over here. I've got a directory on my desktop called the workspace. And I could go ahead and go in there, and you see this is where I have directories called packages, presentations, projects, training. Go in there, I can go to UC, and so on, and I could save my files in the locations that I want to keep them, depending on my directory layout. In this case, I am just creating this file, this zen.py, and it's on my desktop, which we can see that right here was created on my desktop. Okay, so I've got this file, zen of Python. And let's just say that it had some code that did some execution I want to do every time. Like maybe it's a procedure of loading data from a certain location and doing some cleaning, and I want that to be provided as output and then work on that data in other ways, okay? So there can be many times where I have this .py file here that I want to execute. Now there's different ways that we can actually execute this. For one, we could actually do this within the terminal here. I could open up a terminal and give it a second, and what I could do is I could do Python. So this is basically saying I want to run Python and I want to execute this zen.py file, and you can see it will execute those lines of code, which we're just printing each of these statements. So that code is being executed in the output provided here. Now, if we wanted to run this within the kernel, or excuse me, the IPython kernel, we could do that. And in doing this, to do this, we could use run, and then I use zen.py. And you can see that line of code will actually run or execute that .py file of interest. And the same thing can be done within a notebook, where I can just use this run magic command and then execute zen.py. And again, that code is executed and the output provided.